This video is me being the 49ers GM, adding to the player picks that I have done in prior videos. This is my draft picks and what I do during the 2004-2005 off season. As of right now, you all know the 49ers have been ravished by injuries and a few years of questionable draft picks. Jake Moody. I'll be uploading multiple videos of this type of content, my roster, starting from the 49ers 2023 draft and who I would have picked real-time picks each year. Adding onto my roster, whoever was on the roster prior will stay on the team until they leave in free agency or retire. Please watch and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by. Dawand Jones, I was screaming for us to draft him. He had fallen and had a good rookie year before injury. He's been okay this year, but he's still young, and when they switched him to the left side, he held up decently. Eye test is always better than a PFF grade. He would have been one of my 3 third-rounders in 2023. Josh Simmons, he's super underrated coming from smaller competition to going to Ohio State. He held up amazingly, one penalty before his injury. Right now he's flying under the radar, could jump up draft board in April. But for now I'd have him at guard. Van Pran, he was more so a need prospect and a shoot in the dark pick. He fell a little bit to the Bills, but for a 4th rounder. Honestly, the 49ers should have addressed O-line more, especially center, because our current player is doing awful. Van Pran is one of those low-risk shot in the dark high-reward picks. Dominic Puni, if you look at my old mock draft tweets on Twitter, you can see that I picked Puni more times than I can count. He's an amazing player, that was underrated to a standard at the beginning of the off-season, but after people seen him at the Senior Bowl, he shot up draft boards. He's a rising star, not only on the 49ers, but in the entire NFL, one of the best rookies and guards in the league. Emory Jones, I haven't been able to watch much tape on him. I like him, and I think he will be near our draft range when all is said and done, for sure first-round draft pick. Those are all my offensive lineman draft picks, minus counting Trent Williams. I didn't include him here because one Photoshop took forever, and this is me showing off my draft picks. Either Dawand or Emory would have been his successor, more likely. I know Emory hasn't had that good of a season, but he has sky-high ceiling, super athletic. He's a good tackle, but could even be a better guard. We could switch him to left guard and kick Josh Simmons to tackle. That's how versatile they both are.
Guys like Will Anderson, like you mentioned, Braswell and Dallas Turner, and did not allow a sack on a bum ankle. What happens when he's healthy? Oh, wait. We go back to 22. Joe, there was this long film study that I did against Alabama in 2022 when LSU won the West. He physically dominated Will Anderson from the beginning to the end. I think it was Will Anderson's worst game as a collegiate player, and him getting dominated by a freshman put Emory Jones on the map. I will even go as far as to say I agree with you on the speed rush. Like, I fully agree with you on the speed rush that is his issue. But you're asking a guard to take hold of a speed rush. That's not fair.
That's why I'm not worried about it.
A player who's overlooked by nearly everyone, yet has become a key piece of their offensive line. Dominic Puni was drafted far later than 6 other guards, but none of them have the impact he's made. In this video, we're diving into why Puni is already outperforming expectations and making his mark, next to Trent Williams as one of the most reliable linemen in the league. Stick around because you won't want to miss how this underrated rookie is proving the doubters wrong. Jackson Powers Johnson, Brandon Coleman, Isaiah Adams, Cooper Beebe, Christian Haynes, and Zach Sinter. These were the 6 guards taken ahead of Dominic Puni. None of them have been as good as him. Trent Williams' exceptional play often elevates the 49ers offensive line to an above-average level. But this season, they've been even better. What's the reason for that? The Niners have a new standout alongside Williams, and his name is Dominic Puni. Dominic Puni was a full-time starter for Kansas during his senior year, showcasing impressive pass blocking skills. He earned a 90.4 PFF grade for pass blocking, though his run blocking grade was lower at 72.3, indicating room for growth. Draft analysts praised him as a well-sized, agile guard with excellent hand timing, but concerns about his weak legs, struggles with body control against athletic pass rushers, and tendency to get knocked off balance significantly lowered his draft grade. He received a 6.2 prospect grade, which suggested he'd be a future average starter, but those predictions have proven off base. Since the start of the season, Puni has been a key player for the 49ers offensive line. He ranks second in snap counts for the offense and holds the second highest pass and run blocking grades among all 49ers linemen. Puni has become a reliable fixture on the line.
Georgia center Cedric Van Pran, because he won multiple national championships, was named in numerous All-American teams, and he started in more than 40 career games and was named one of the team captains. For the last month or so, all we heard about as far as centers go is Jackson Powers Johnson. He's who we've been linked to. He's who's considered the best at his position. But Cedric has a strong case when you factor in his leadership. After he snaps the ball, he does a great job with first step quickness, whether that's getting help on a double team, pulling as a lead blocker, or climbing to the second level. So imagine runs that we can make inside, especially inside zone. He can play both power gap or zone schemes, really don't matter. And pass pro, he does a great job of working both A gaps, preventing penetration from defenders and helping both guard positions out in the run and the pass.
A year ago, you were getting ready to be drafted. Is that crazy to think that it's already been a year for you?
Definitely surreal. I think going back to pro day at OSU was a real, like wake-up call. I really heard a lot of not really good things. I heard a lot of, he's slow on his feet. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna be able to adjust the speed of the game, his weight, is it going to be able to stay the same?
Did you maybe have a position in your mind that you thought you were going to go?
Try not to listen to what the media says, but, you want to at least be prepared. I was waiting for at least round 2. That's where I really had my mindset going. For me to fall to round 4, in my opinion, I look at it as a blessing now, but, it was definitely a little disappointed. But, I try to just make it up on the field and, just show that my film and, my attitude, a lot of teams missed out on.
A year later, if you went back, what are 3 things that you think people should have said about you?
He's a big man that can move, light on his feet, and Punisher, I would say, like he enforces.
What did the Browns see in you that other teams overlooked?
I think they really see like my length and my athleticism. It really translates over to the next level, and I feel like this past year I really displayed that on film, and I feel like a lot of teams missed out on that. Not having a lengthier player or bigger player, have on the field.
What is your advice to the guys that the Browns are taking chances on that either may fall where they shouldn't necessarily have fallen to, or land in a spot they weren't expecting to? What would you tell them?
You're in a great organization. You fall with the Browns. Stay humble, be blessed no matter where you go. Keep your head down and just keep working always. That's what I really tell myself, tell younger guys that ask me for help, and I would tell the guys the same thing. You had that motivation from the draft day. What does that motivation look like going into year 2? Where does Dawand Jones go from here? Year 2, coming off an injury, I just want to make sure I keep my head down, rehab as best as possible, and just honestly get back to where I was last year and even better. That's one of my main goals.
As Mitchell gets the toss, he's going to get a 100-yard game on this run. Oh my goodness, he breaks it again. Cuts back. Thrown down.
Keaton Mitchell has serious juice. That is the archetype of running back. That's why I was so excited for the potential of J.K. Dobbins. Because when J.K. Dobbins is healthy, that's a juicy boy. He has real top speed, real shifty. And that's who Keaton Mitchell is. Week 12, 9 for 64. We also saw 2 targets, 46% of the snaps. Since he's really gotten back from his injury, week 9, the snaps have gone up every single week. And if he continues to climb in snaps and opportunities for the Ravens, he could do some real damage over the fantasy playoffs.
Learn the name, football fan. 9 carries, 138 yards, and this wasn't just on one big run. 10 yards after 10 yards, and he also flashed elite home run speed when he raced past Rick Woolen on his 40-yard touchdown. Lamar Jackson even said he's faster than him. It was Mitchell's first game where he received carries, and he proved he needs more. And trust me, he will get plenty more. This undrafted rookie is not only an NFL stud, he could also be the pickup that wins you your fantasy league.
Xavier.
Jaheim Bell had a lot of buzz early on in the 2023 NFL draft process, but a slow start to the 2022 campaign cooled that hype. Bell has intriguing versatility. He had 54 carries for 197 yards and a touchdown in 2022, along with 25 catches for 231 yards and 2 scores. After transferring to Florida State in 2023, I expect that versatility to be even further unleashed. Jaheim Bell is a guy who can be used in motion and line up at H-back, and he offers a high-level blend of explosiveness and contact balance at 6'3", 200.
D, the guard on that play. And boy, Derek Harmon, excuse me.
Chance for him. And the first snap of the game with Loveland in motion is a toss, and it's going to be a loss. And wow, immediately Derek Harmon makes his presence felt. The guy that Gary talked about drops Donovan Edwards for a loss.
Look, man, I think LT Overton is really going to be an X factor in this game because he has been just absolutely ruthless to opposing offensive lines so far in the first few games of the season. At TFL, he had a sack, had a forced fumble against Wisconsin. Just the fact that he's able to get back there and wreak havoc. 12 pressures so far in the first 3 games is incredible. Like I said, they're going to have to get after Carson Beck. I do not want him to have a lot of time in the pocket because that's when Carson Beck is most dangerous.
Lock winding up with the bump deep. Oh, he got smashed. Woo! What a hit. Number 22 LT Overton out of nowhere.
Versatile guy, you got a lot to your game. Big dude, strong, but you're also fast. Coach Mama talked about your athleticism. You've been generating a lot of buzz with your pass rush ability. Kind of talk about your philosophy as a rusher. You know how you set up your speed, the power, and just how that's been giving you success so far in camp.
Well, I feel like changing my game from more of a speed guy A&M to now putting on more pounds and muscle to Alabama. I feel like using all just finesse, and then just surprising with power. I feel like that's been my big philosophy when it's coming to pass rush and even on the run. Like you could hit a little quick move and get around them, but also you got that power, so you're just there.
Ranking 7th with 440 snaps is defensive lineman number 94. Carl Brooks, who was drafted in the 6th round with pick 179. He appeared in all 19 games and scored a 69.8 with PFF for the regular season. And again, he led the entire team with an impressive PFF score of 90.7 during the playoffs.
Boxes he wanted to check. He wanted to see his quarterback play well and his defense play well, and I think pretty clear that those two things are evident.
And Fields is dropped. Carl Brooks, the rookie from Bowling Green, has his first NFL sack.
The left guard, Cody Whitehair. Cody Whitehair's supposed to be... no, he just beats him right around the edge on a little ET stunt.
He's got great hips. He can go from a 3 technique to a 1 technique on 1 step. And I'm not taking anything away from Byron Murphy. Like, I think he's a good player. I think there's 3 or 4 guys, right? Johnny Newton has been my #1 interior defensive lineman in this draft. Now you can look at Darius Robinson, you can look at bigger bodies that are space eaters inside, but Newton looks like he's a guy that you need in there to push the pocket, to win the one-on-ones away from the center sliding away. That he's got short area quickness. The way say, like I don't want to compare him right now to Quentin Williams. It took Quentin Williams a couple of years to get to beat Quentin Williams. But if you look at the way they have paid defensive tackles in the NFL right now, whether it's Jeffrey Simmons or Deron Payne, some of these guys, Newton looks like he's one of those guys to me.
All right, Brad, appreciate it.
There's a lot to like with Taylor right now. He could be a first rounder at the end of this year, and you're starting to see why with what he did last year. In 2022, 10.5 tackles for a loss. So this is a very explosive player. This is a player with a lot of burst, a lean 305 pounds, allows him to play with that burst and quickness. 16.2% pass rush win rate in 2022. That's a pretty fat number, especially once again for a player as young as this guy. They could play him on the edge. He is a very unique defensive lineman in in terms of the athletic gifts he has.
He can bend.
He can bend.
He's 305 pounds, 6'3", and he can bend. He looks like a supersized linebacker who's playing 3 technique defensive tackle.
Yes. If I was writing a first-round mock draft today, I'd put him in there. You have pass rush gifts and athletic gifts that profile as a top 40 pick in most drafts, and that's what I see with Leonard Taylor right now.
Jets also got Leonard Taylor as a priority free agent.
They did get Leonard Taylor as a UDFA, it's a good choice for Leonard Taylor.
1000% it is.
His agent picked the right team if he's going to have a shot to make it. I was really low on Leonard Taylor. I still had him in the top 200. He didn't get drafted. It'll be interesting if Saleh can really get through to him. They've developed a lot of different defensive linemen over the years.
And he's young, too.
He's very young, clearly was not ready for the combine, and he's in a room with Quinnen Williams and Hassan Reddick.
No better player for him to stand next to at this point than Quinnen Williams.
Staple him to the hip.
That's how Leonard Taylor's going to win at the NFL. Doing like what Quinnen Williams does, that style of play, that 3 technique type of play.
Yep, spot on.
Get him off of the nose tackle spot he played this past year. Allow him to be, when Quinnen Williams needs a water break, be like, all right, buddy, get in there. I have a ton of intrigue for Leonard Taylor going to the Jets.
He carries that 305 freaking beautifully, like, wow, you love to see it. He will forklift, manhandle guards and centers. Like, you just love it, man. He is an absolute problem because he's just not powerful. He's also freaking athletic. He has good burst. He combines that with very good length, very good bull rush. He will literally sit blockers into the laps of quarterbacks or use them as projectiles to get to the quarterback, man. His hands just control blockers like puppets, man. He's like a marionette out there. It's a thing.
6 of my JB24 is a tackling machine, Iowa linebacker Jay Higgins. It's very easy to find Higgins on tape. Just go to where the ball is. Chances are, Higgins is around it. He's an every down, versatile linebacker that is a key piece to that Iowa elite defensive scheme. The best linebackers have great instincts, great vision, and a quick first step that allows them to beat the ball carrier to their spots. When I say Higgins is a tackling machine, I mean it. He had 171 tackles last season, which was 3rd nationally, including leading the Big Ten in solo tackles with 79. So of course linebackers have to tackle, but the modern game has put an emphasis on linebackers' ability to be effective in coverage. Well, Higgins has that blend of speed, quickness, and again, I go back to football IQ, understanding route concepts and route combinations, which allow him to be in position to bat balls down, make plays, and get some of those tackles downfield.
Jay Higgins, Iowa, was my number 4. He had 171 tackles last year. One more time for the people in the back. 171 tackles. Iowa was Iowa last year. They were on defense a lot because the offense was terrible. More opportunities to get tackles for Mr. Higgins. I understand that. The defense was also good, though. We can't take away from that. And who leads the defense, Joe? The linebacker, Jay Higgins, does. And you know what he does when he's leading the defense with a terrible offense? 171 tackles. Impact player. I have to give credit for that. I do. If you want Foye Oluokun on your team, NFL, it's Jay Higgins. All right? He's not gonna flash. I don't think he's gonna end up all Pro Bowl, but he's gonna lead the team in tackles. He could lead the NFL in tackles, and just be there, be the vacuum where all the defense is pushing the ball towards you. Close on the tackle. That's what Higgins does.
Some of their notable returning starters with the highest PFF grades from last season. The group includes Jay Higgins, the nation's leading tackler last season. He had 171 tackles at linebacker for Iowa.
Dumas Johnson is the next great Georgia linebacker, following in the footsteps of past Bulldogs including Roquan Smith and Eagles' Nakobe Dean. In fact, over the past 2 seasons, the only SEC linebacker with a higher grade than Dumas Johnson is Eagles' 2023 breakout candidate Nakobe Dean, according to PFF. The Hyattsville, Maryland native totaled 70 tackles last year, second best on the team, including 9 for loss with 4 sacks. Dumas Johnson also deflected 3 passes from his inside linebacker spot while forcing 1 fumble in 15 games. At 6'1", 235 pounds, he may have standard size at the position, but everything else about him screams a star in the making. Dumas Johnson shows a true nose for the football, excelling when coming downhill to meet a running back in their backfield. The only question for this dude will be his coverage ability as a full-time starter. If it all clicks, I expect this guy to climb up the draft board.
For the people out there that don't know, on average, your wingspan is about 2 to 3 inches longer than your regular height. So this guy has a 7-inch gap between his wingspan and his height. So freakish stuff there out of Dorian Williams. Just like his speed, which is also freakish. A 4.49 speed makes him a great coverage option. An 87 PFF coverage grade, very good in zone coverage with his length. 3-year starter, 302 tackles, 27.5 tackles for loss, and 9.5 sacks over the last 3 years. He is undersized for the run game, but I don't think that he lets it bother him too much. He is still competitive in that. He's not particularly instinctive, but there are a lot of tools that you can buy into with Williams. But you're drafting him to cover. You're drafting him to cover tight ends. You're drafting him to be a coverage linebacker.
Did I read that the Jets also got Leonard?
Miller gets the carry, ball's on the ground, fumble, and Alabama has it. Damani Jackson shot in and pried it free. Big takeaway.
When that ball is coming down with that right hand, hammering the ball out.
Jason Marshall out of Florida is finally playing up to his ability. So watch out for him as a sneaky potential day 2 consideration.
6'1", 198 pounds. He played 634 snaps as a freshman in 2021 and allowed a passer rating when targeted of 59.8. In 2022, he played 618 snaps and allowed a 74.7 rating. His strength, he's really good in zone coverage. He's got really good eyes. He's good at reading the quarterback with eyes in the backfield. He reads routes and anticipates well. He also excels up the sideline at the boundary at pushing receivers to the sideline, using that as an extra defender. He's very physical in press coverage. So if this is a guy you want to get up on the line of scrimmage and press, or to play in zone, I think he could be a good target for you. Now, when we talk about weaknesses with cornerbacks, guys, what am I going to say the biggest weakness is?
Grabby.
He's grabby.
Did the Philadelphia Eagles get themselves a complete steal in this undrafted rookie cornerback? Throughout the preseason, there was one Eagle who really made his presence felt and proved that he deserves a roster spot this year, and that is none other than undrafted rookie cornerback Eli Ricks, who once was considered a corner with first-round talent, but injuries limited him in his college career at both LSU and Alabama to the point where he ultimately fell out of the entire draft. But so far in his short NFL career during training camp in the preseason, he's done everything possible to prove why that was a mistake, as in the preseason, Ricks was the highest graded corner out of 182 qualified guys, and he ended up allowing only 6 catches on 15 targets, a 54.9 passer rating when targeted, and he also had 3 pass breakups and a pick 6. And this impressive play, like I said, could very well have earned Ricks a roster spot. And if that's the case, he's going to get the chance to develop and learn under all-pro corners in Darius Slay and James Bradbury, and who knows, maybe he could become one of the corners of the future for the Eagles if he develops and remains healthy. Now, not saying he's going to do that, but if he did, he would go down as an absolute steal by the Eagles.
Clark Phillips III, cornerback from the University of Utah, my guy. Student of the game of football. I've seen this young man since he's come in as a freshman. He has improved his game so well. I love to call him Dr. Phillips because he will diagnose and know exactly what that wide receiver illness is, and he will fix the problem. He will give you that cornerback medication on how to get shut down and locked down. He gave Jordan Addison a little bit of trouble at USC last year at Utah, and I saw it with my 4K eyes. He is top-notch in technique, understands exactly what his responsibilities are. He will know where he needs to be, and he will let you know where you cannot go. Clark Phillips, University of Utah, my guy. One of the great corners coming out this year, so I'm really looking forward to watching him play.
Look here, Xavier Howard, he could be replaced by big physical cornerback TJ Tampa out of Iowa State. In my opinion, he's a top 10 corner, but his stock is not as high on some scouts draft boards because he didn't work out as much as they wanted at the combine due to a hamstring injury. Said he plans to do everything at his pro day. What I like is he's a long, tall corner from St. Petersburg. So it'll be fitting if the Buccaneers drafted him before us, but if they don't, we should steal him in the first round. He was a cornerstone on the Cyclones defense. Not only will he rock your dome as a tackler on flankers across the middle, but he could also get picks and ball hawk as well. Could also probably be a multi-sport athlete like Dion, because he's a hooper as well. You see him catching alleys right here. Maybe Spoke could put him in a rotation with Terry Rozier and Jimmy Buckets. Those are my thoughts on TBFB in shorts.
Antonio Johnson has shined in limited action on defense during his rookie year. In 53 defensive snaps, he's earned an 86.8 PFF grade with 6 tackles, an interception, and a strip sack. He's also been a standout on special teams.
Sacks today. So that's a big one here for Jacksonville fans.
Young able to escape, throws on the run, it's deflected and picked off! Intercepted! Antonio Johnson runs it back all the way inside the Panthers' 30.
A lot of factors.
That's a toss into the arms of a waiting Tyke Smith. And the rookie looking for his first career interception on what has been a nice 2-week stretch for the third-round pick out of Georgia. He's got the pick.
Creates havoc. That was said over and over again this week. Creator of havoc in the backfield at that nickel position. 7 blitz comes. Everybody comes. Down goes Tyke Smith. Watch him take on the blocker. I hope we have this.
To his left, there's not a lot of room, and he is knocked down. T in the backfield. And here comes George's heat. And down goes Thorne. He goes deep to the bottom, now to the middle, and it's intercepted. Tyler Smith is having himself a series. Deep out intercepted. Picked up by Georgia, that'll do it. And it's Keaton Smith.
Hey Key, what's happening, man? How you doing, Coach? Oh, we meet again. Yeah, we definitely meet again. Yeah, glad to get you down here, man. Can't wait to get going. I can't wait to get going either. Glad to be a part of it. West Philly's finest, just like we talked about. Definitely West Philly's finest. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Troy, be happy. Man, can't wait. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, Coach. All right.